of Confidence Culture Conversations. And your two favorite hosts are in the building.
We're occupying our space this evening, a space to celebrate one another. I celebrate you, Coach Elizabeth, the little Scotch bonnet, as people in Malaysia call you, a firecracker. I celebrate you. I celebrate your energy. Sometimes I need that energy. And today we're going to celebrate one another and celebrate the women who are going to watch. And it's all about celebrating our victories. Coach Elizabeth, I know you are one person who loves to celebrate and value people, and something that I'm learning from you. Thank God for that. So, Coach Elizabeth, now to you.
Wow. Now to me, she says. To me, she says. Okay. Right. First of all, I want to celebrate you too, Coach Kirubai, for all the amazing things that you have accomplished. I celebrate you. Um, you are honestly at 60 and you're thriving. You're doing your thing. You are showing up in spaces. Your schedule has changed over the past couple of weeks and months, and you're stepping up to it. So, Coach Kirubai, we celebrate you.
Same here. I celebrate you because I glean from you and learn a lot of things from you, younger people. But you know what? I'm trying to catch up. I'm on a catch up mode, and I'm happy to catch up and I'm happy to learn from the younger generation because we can learn from each other all the time. Nobody knows everything. So we celebrate our shortcomings because we are learning from someone else.
Absolutely. Now, celebrating yourself is such an amazing thing. It increases the flow of dopamine in your system.
That's right. That's right.
And dopamine is good. It's good for you.
It's the happy hormones that makes us happy, makes us want to go on in life, makes us want to thrive, and makes us want to be achievers. Wow, I love dopamine. More dopamine, more dopamine.
Shh, don't give away the secret. But honestly, if you're watching this and you're wondering what are these crazy two women going on about, today we just want to talk about celebrating your victory, celebrating your wins, and to be honest, celebrating where you are, because you have come a long way. You have come a long way. You're watching this. I might not know your story, but one thing I do know is that you have come a long way. So celebrate yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Say, well done, Elizabeth. Well done, Kirubai. Celebrate yourself. It is so important for us to get into the habit of celebrating ourselves. Don't wait for someone to celebrate you. Don't wait for someone to give you permission to celebrate yourself. Get into the habit of celebrating yourself. And when I say celebrating yourself, it's not just clapping for yourself. It's not just being happy for yourself, but sometimes you need to reward yourself as well as part of the celebration.
Yeah, how do we reward ourselves, Elizabeth? So,
How do we reward ourselves? Was that question for me?
no, I think it's a question for those who are watching today. How do you celebrate yourself and how do you reward yourself? Because sometimes, Elizabeth, I speak to women and women who have very busy lifestyles, and sometimes taking time out is actually a very um, understandable reward. You reward yourself, time for yourself. Time and self care is one of the ways you can reward yourself. Staying away from the familiarities and doing something so different, like going for a spa or doing your nails or doing a facial. Little things, which is like a lot of women because of time constraint, family commitments, they don't do these things. So would you agree with me, Elizabeth?
I totally agree. So you know me, right? You know I like talking about this. But one of the things that I do is I run some workshops within the community, and one of the workshops I run is on self-care. And when I talk about self-care, I talk a lot about like celebrating yourself, taking time to care for you, because if you don't take time to care for you, then you're going to run on empty.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to run on a half-filled tank. So you need to find opportunities, find moments to fill up your tank. And one way to fill up your tank is by celebrating yourself. We can be so hard on ourselves sometimes. And this is in life in general. We go through things and we start to become hard on ourselves. We start to be, because we are perfectionists sometimes, we want things to be perfect. And so we don't celebrate until we achieve perfection. But hang on a minute. You might never get to perfection. In fact, what is perfection? Because there is always room for improvement, there's always room for more. So what is perfection?
You know, I think perfection, sorry, let me add this a little bit. Perfection is actually a disaster waiting to happen.
Wow. Wow.
Because
Break that down, Coach K.
okay, because one of the things with perfectionism is the fear of failure. When you fear so much, you don't put your hands to the plow, and then you might never learn those valuable lessons. So, a lot of people practice perfectionism because they fear failing.
Wow.
I don't know whether it makes sense, because I'm owning this for myself, because sometimes it's like perfectionism and procrastination are the two P's that we don't want in our lives. And it is
Mm,
all fear of failure. And but
mm,
turning that around and saying those failures are good because we take valuable lessons. So celebrating and moving on to the things that are unknown and doing it, it's actually celebrating your fearlessness. Does that make sense, Coach Elizabeth?
do you know what? It makes sense. And fear of failure is such a big thing. It's a thing that grips a lot of people and stops them from stepping out into the fullness of all that God has called them to be.
Mm,
There's a lot of people sitting on ideas that they're too scared to take a chance on those ideas because they're scared that they might fail.
that's right.
But do you know what? Unless you start, you will never know.
Mm-hmm.
So give your ideas a chance, give your dreams a chance, take a step of faith and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah, that fear will give you the adrenaline to run forth and say, "I want to do it. I want to do it." That the feel good factor, that dopamine, boosts you up, and that adrenaline, that push, both working together to achieve your dreams, to own your dreams in your life. I think a lot of us have this problem of embracing our dreams, because those dreams are something that we need to celebrate, like what you said, Elizabeth, that it might just be buried in us and might not ever come out. The audacious dreams that we need to celebrate. Thinking about this, I love watching period dramas. So I watched this Mr. Selfridge. Mr. Selfridge is a drama that was, it actually is a story about the Selfridges here that we have today. And
Oh wow.
he was American, but he set up business in London, and everybody's scorned at him, and nobody said that, everybody said that he couldn't find investors, and he couldn't, because those days tailors come to they had fashion houses where women went and men went to the uh, tailor boutiques to do their suits. Nobody wanted to go into a there was no such thing as a departmental store. I believe Selfridges was the first departmental store, no, first one of the first departmental stores open in London, 1909. And it's an amazing story. He fought all odds to celebrate this audacious idea that he brought from America. You know, Americans, they are so big with their ideas. It's amazing. You know, audacious ideas and how they are full of life, and something that I have to learn because I fear sometimes. And then Elizabeth is there. Come on, Kirbai, don't think like that. It's good. Accountability. So, Mr. Selfridge's story yesterday was amazing. I'm looking forward to watching more episodes. How he overcame all the negativities and he celebrated his victory about and opening Selfridges, which exists till today. It's one of the famous shops that everything is expensive. A box of chocolates is expensive.
Very
But
true. Very
yeah,
true.
but you know what? The feel and how it started from humble beginnings. So celebrate the victories of the small beginning. Do not despise the days of small beginnings.
That is so good, and I love that particular the way you just ended that, because sometimes we're waiting for the big things, right, before we start
Mhm.
celebrating. We're
Mm.
waiting for 1,000 views, 10,000 followers before we start to celebrate the journey that we're on and how far we have come. But do you know what? Start celebrating today. Learn to celebrate today. Last week, I had the pleasure of being at an International Women's Day event, and I was asked to speak on resilience. And for me, one of the ways to be resilient is to develop a habit of celebrating yourself.
Mm.
And so we had an opportunity to go around the room, and all the women had given a little snippet of their story and some of the challenges they had faced in life. And there were tears, there was laughter, there were hugs. So, it was mixed emotions in the room. And so by the time I got up to speak, one thing I did was I told these women to celebrate themselves, to stand up and affirm themselves. And the statement I used, I say, put your name and tell yourself, Elizabeth, you're a strong and resilient woman. I celebrate you. And it was so nice to just see the women in the room light up, celebrating themselves. So they all stood up and celebrated themselves. And I said, okay, so turn to the person next to you and celebrate the lady next to you. And so they did that as well. And you could see the joy, the relief, because sometimes we think we're the only ones going through things. And so we don't want to celebrate how far we are coming. We don't want to celebrate the fact that we are still standing. We are still showing up in life. Even if life is hard, we are
Mm.
still showing up. Celebrate every day that you wake up. And one of the things I encourage these women to do is to teach your children to celebrate. In fact, celebrate your children. Don't wait for people outside of your house to celebrate your children. You create an environment, nurture an environment where you celebrate your children. Let them leave the house knowing, yes, I am celebrated. And it's so good. It's such a good feeling.
Well, hearing you is definitely a good feeling this evening because I was buried in my computer doing something very 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 intense. But you know what? Now I'm relaxed,
That's good.
celebrating. It's celebrating. Let's tell ourselves today. I celebrate myself. I celebrate my family. I celebrate my children.
Absolutely, absolutely. But do you know what? If we never celebrate ourselves and we wait for people to celebrate us, it's almost like we have a negative opinion of ourselves. Like we don't see ourselves as achieving, and yet every day we are achieving something. When we say celebrate yourself, don't wait for a big win before you celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate every journey along the way. So you might have a let's say a goal that you're working towards.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you might not do something every day to achieve that goal, but on the days that you do, celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself.
Talking about goals and celebrating, one of the ways you can celebrate and reward yourself every time you every time you achieve a certain goal, you give yourself a small reward. So you look forward to the reward. Maybe myself, I like going shopping online. This thing about I love online shopping, and sometimes I just put it in the basket and I don't buy it. It's just a little thrill, a dopamine fix. So I could celebrate myself as that, and then I get an email. Oh, there's something in your basket. But you know what? We got to be careful. But little things, an ice cream, maybe a bar of chocolate. Um,
Or
um,
do what I do. Go out for a cup of tea.
yes, you're a teetotaler. Yes, go for a cup of tea, a nice place. Well, one of these days we have to celebrate each other and have nice cream tea.
When you're ready, Coach K, let's do it.
Dress up, dress up nice and have this cup of tea. Take a lot of pictures and celebrate each other. Coming soon, coming soon, coming soon.
Watch the space.
Watch that space. Oh, we've been working very hard. Elizabeth, you've been working very hard. And I think, it's time to take a break. Before I take a break for a month and go, God willing, you will come.
Yes, 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 yes. That's part of me celebrating me.
So, I just want to share this. Last November, I celebrated my 60th birthday. So it was something that I thought I needed to do for myself and for the people who meant a lot around me. So
Mm.
we wanted to, we Robert and I, my husband was lovely, he threw this party, and we wanted to celebrate this auspicious number 60 in my life with the friends and family who've been here supporting me and being there for me. Some new friends, some very old friends, some friends that you meet along the way, but we had a good celebration. So a lot of people I find do not want to celebrate birthdays, milestones in their lives. So I think that you have to owe it to yourself and to the maker for giving those good years. Don't you think so, Elizabeth?
Do you know what? I totally agree. I totally agree because yes, we don't like the idea of growing old, but do you know what? Age with grace and age beautifully. Age doesn't have to be something that you dread. It doesn't have to be something that you're scared of. Just own wherever you are. Just shine in your age. You don't have to be 20 to live your best life. You can be
Mhm.
60 and live your best life. You don't have to be 21 and no, you don't have to. So
You don't have.
celebrate every milestone, every age, because every age comes with its own beauties, comes
Mhm,
with its own issues, but
mhm,
celebrate along the way because some people haven't gotten to where you've gotten.
mhm.
You know, I was saying to some ladies, we were talking about, I think this was another workshop I was doing, and we're talking about gratitude. And one of the ladies in the room said something that she was really grateful for is that she gets to that she's alive today to see four generations in her
Ooh.
life. So she said, I'm a great 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 grandmother. And I was like, wow, wow, who not many people get to say that.
Yeah.
Not many people get to celebrate that milestone, but you're there. So celebrate it.
Mm.
And you know what? Sometimes when we like don't celebrate our birthdays, or we are apprehensive about certain age brackets, it makes those coming behind us worried and anxious. Because honestly, if you see people turning a certain age, they're always like, oh, what's that going to be like? But hey, it doesn't have to be a troublesome time. It doesn't have to be a time where you're questioning life's issues. Just just do you,
Yes.
regardless of what age you are.
Mhm.
Do you?
Mm. It could be a very Asian thing. I mean, I'm being very vulnerable and open here. My my mom will turn 83, and we want to go back and celebrate. And there she says, "No, I don't want to celebrate. I rather you give me the money. I want to do charity." I'm telling mom, those memories we want to cherish. We want to cherish those memories. And my grandmother, her mother, she died when she was 46.
Wow.
Yes, that's a very, very early death. Until I had very short memories of her. So
Mm.
it saddens me when I think of her. So I want to make good memories with our families, our mums, our dads, and people who are alive, because part of them, we celebrate them. It's also memories, good memories for us.
Kiriba, you're right. And you know what? One thing that I don't like about us human beings is that when somebody dies, we're very eager to celebrate them.
Yeah.
But don't wait for me to die before you celebrate me.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate me every day. Celebrate me today. So, if there's someone in your life that you need to celebrate, you need to show some appreciation to. Don't wait till they're in a coffin. Do
Mm-hmm.
it while they're still alive,
Mm-hmm.
while they're there, and you can speak to them and they can respond. Do it then. Don't wait till it's too late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the eulogy that they speak about you, oh, so and so, so and so, it doesn't make sense because you can't hear the person who is laying at rest that doesn't hear. But every day celebrate your loved ones. We just passed our Mother's Day. Elizabeth, I think you go back?
No, I didn't get to go and spend some time with my mom, but I sent her a lovely voice note. So
Okay.
that should make up for it. But I'll see her soon. I'll see her soon.
But I saw you celebrating in church, preaching. You
I
celebrated the
do.
women there. I did hear, I was there hearing you. It was a wonderful message. But you took time to celebrate the women in the house, and that was
Mm.
really good. And I think as women, we empower each other by celebrating one another.
Definitely, definitely. And you know what? Even in relationships,
Hmm.
just being able to celebrate someone. If I have a friend who celebrates me, I want to be around that friend. Just think about it. If you have a friend who celebrates you, you will want to be around them. There'll be something drawing you to be around them, because we all like to be celebrated. So if you like to be celebrated, show celebration to someone else. Celebrate other people. Get into the habits of giving someone a nice compliment. Yesterday, I was at an event. I was helping out at this event, and at the end of the event, me and the friends I was with saw this lady, and her her outfit, her combination, everything looked so on point. She looked good. She looked good, and she had this really nice wig. It looked so nice. And so my friends that I was with were whispering to each other and saying, "Oh, she looks really nice. Her wig is so nice. It suits her." And I said to them, I said, go tell her that she's looking good." And they were like, "No, we can't do that. We can't do that." I said, "Watch me." And I literally went, I tapped her on her shoulder. I said, "Excuse me, my friends want to let you know that you're looking good and your wig absolutely suits you. It's stunning. And she was like, "Oh my God, thank you. Oh, thank you." And that's all it took, just going and saying something, and for me, I was glad to share that, to take the compliment, to pass it on to her, because it makes a difference. It brightens up your day when you walk out of the house and someone's like, "Oh, that's a lovely scarf. Oh, lovely earrings. Oh, your hair looks nice." It seems like something very trivial, but you don't even know what that person is going through. You
Mhm.
don't even know how self-conscious they might be feeling, that little compliment can boost how they feel in that moment. So get into the habit, not just celebrating yourself, but celebrating others. And just sharing compliments, show appreciation, buy flowers for somebody. Find a way to celebrate them, because it's it it takes away the comparison and the competition. It takes that
Ah,
away.
well
It takes
said.
that.
Well said, Elizabeth.
I don't have to
Comparison.
compete with
Yeah.
you. I celebrate you. Tunji, you want flowers? Okay.
Oh dear. Why not? It's not.
We'll
It's not sex specific, female or
Very
male.
true.
So you can always
Very
have
true.
some flowers. I'll remember that and send you some flowers soon. We celebrate you.
He might not know what to do with them. He'll probably say, "What do I do?"
But he will probably pass it to you.
But one of the things that I do, when I'm in my workshops, is I tell people to get their phone out, and send somebody a message to
Mhm.
celebrate them.
Mm.
So beyond just celebrating yourself, find one person in your phone book that means something to you, and just send them a message to show that you appreciate them. Tell them you love them, whatever
Mhm.
it is. Or if you just want to say thank you for being you, thank you for being present in my life, do that. And there's such a good feeling to it. So, Kirubai,
Mhm.
how does celebrating ourselves, how does it impact our confidence? What's the correlation?
What is the correlation? I think when we celebrate ourselves, there is a feel good factor. So when you feel good, you put your head up high and you own the space and walk. It's like wearing a beautiful dress and getting a compliment, like the dress you wore on Sunday to church and you were preaching. You looked amazing. It's a lovely color and you own the space. So indirectly or directly, you have a boost within you that you want to not slouch, but you want to put yourself up, walk with confidence, and own the space. So I do not know the chemistry behind that, but there is some magic happening.
There is definitely a chemistry behind the scenes that's going on. And as you were talking, something I was thinking about is the the whole idea behind a power pause.
Mm, true.
So, for those that are wondering what a power pause is, go and Google, a power pause, and you'll get some ideas. You'll get some images. There's a TED talk. There's a lady that did a TED talk. I've forgotten her name, but she did a TED talk on it, and I think she made it a big thing when she did her TED talk on it.
Yeah.
But
It's
what
deportment,
she was
basically.
saying,
Basically, it's deportment and owning the space. It's a power post, and we all have unique power posts. Yeah, remember now. You know when you oh
it's like Usain Bolt. When Usain Bolt used to do his running, he had
yeah,
his pause.
yeah, exactly. We got to
So
dis-
you've got it. You've got to find what works for you. But this lady said, for example, before you go into an interview, do a power pause.
Mm.
And she said you'll feel different. I was
Mhm.
like, seriously? Just a power pause? I was like, wow. So every time before you leave the house, just do a power pause in front of the mirror and
Mm.
just walk out of the door feeling so confident.
It's actually body language and what you are exuding, the body language.
Hmm.
People who are very smart, they can pick up those body language, especially now coming back to an interview you attend. How you walk into the room and have that power pose, the power walk, can determine whether you will get that job or you won't get that job, because it's all about confidence. You can
Wow.
carry the file with, just carrying it and covering yourself, because then a position like this might show you want to hide something, or are you openly putting your hands on your side and owning that space with your power pose and walking towards your interviewers and saying, hey, here I am, pay attention to me. And that's the win that you give yourself to own that job. That's a good topic to speak about, Elizabeth, the next time. A power
I was
pose.
I was just thinking about it. And you know what? I think it would be perfect for one of our workshops.
Yes.
It would be perfect in our confidence culture conversation workshops, just going through some, yeah,
Yeah, it'll be
just
a good
take our bodies a little
time
and get
to.
into position.
No, it's a good workshop, hands-on workshop. Everybody walking around. Yes, good idea. I will jot down this idea because there's a
You,
big science behind this. Body language.
wow. So if you're watching today and you've never done it, after listening today, just go in front of the mirror and do a power pose. Stand in front of the mirror, do a power pose, and just hold it for a little bit and just see how you feel. It's like a superhero pose.
Or take a picture. Take a picture.
Exactly. Take a picture. Take a picture. You will feel the difference. You will feel the difference it will have on you. So don't shy away from it. You might feel stupid doing it, but just do it. Just do it. It's your power pose. And do you know what? Try doing it every day before you leave the house over a period of time. Over a period of time, and see
and
what that does for you.
and how your confidence will be built up. So,
There you go.
one of the points that I was pondering about is how to celebrate your victories is, it's involving others, telling others of those victories that you've had. Now we have social media, it's so big. Um, Lots of people shy away from social media because they say, I don't want to share my business. But sometimes your story can touch someone's life.
Mm.
And uh, and again, I would like to say that my abuse to abundance has become my statement now, because it is the victory that I have overcome unforgiveness and my shame and my pain and my traumas, because I can openly share. That is actually something I have to celebrate. So to share, social media is one of the platforms that I do, because somebody one day told me, why are you sharing your business with others? Because we are in the game of, or we are in the business of empowering someone else. So think of it as a calling. Your story can be someone else's victory. Your story can touch someone else. So we celebrate those.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry. We celebrate those who have things of triggers and stuff like that. Pain, but it can be a testimony to share and to touch someone else's life.
And you know what? When we talk about like your story, it doesn't have to be a, major story like I was abused and I made it through. Like your story is your story. My story doesn't have to be the same as Coach Kirubai's story.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time I was saying to God, this was years ago when I was, yeah, years ago. Let me just say years ago. I was saying to God that, God, I hear people sharing their testimonies and I'm like, wow, what's my testimony? And I was thinking about it like, God, I want a testimony. And obviously to have a testimony, you must go through a test. There must be something you overcome to go through a test. And honestly, don't go and ask God that you want a testimony unless you're ready to go through the test. But that was at that time, I was thinking to myself, when I hear people sharing their testimony, for example, how they came to know Christ. I grew up in a pastor's house. My dad's a pastor. And so I was like, I was brought up around the faith anyway. So I came to the faith when I was young. So I don't have much of a life transformational story to share with you. I just know that God is the way forward because it's what I've always known. It's what I've always been surrounded with. And years later, after me saying I want a testimony, maybe a year or two later, I went through some challenges and I was like, okay, God, it's all right. It's okay. I've got some testimonies now. Let's stop there. But let's not go asking for these testimonies
Asking for
because
trouble. Huh?
test. So, but get into the habit of celebrating every day. There is something to celebrate. And when we talk about celebrating, we can also put in their gratitude. Just
Mm,
celebrating is part of being grateful. It's
yeah.
being grateful that this is how far I have come. This is
Mm-hmm.
how far I have made it. And for all of us, that looks different. There are some people just getting through the day is a testimony enough because they're facing some health challenges.
Yeah. Depression.
And there's some people facing life challenges.
Mm,
So just getting through the day for them is like, wow, I didn't know I was going to make it. There's some people who might even be watching who are feeling suicidal.
mm-hmm.
And just getting through the next hour is the thing for them that they need to celebrate.
You, you know, Elizabeth, when we were growing up, when we grumbled or were not grateful, my mom will always say, come, let's go to the hospital and see how people are sick in the hospital. Health is actually wealth. So she did take us one day and said, look at all these people who are sick. So you got to be grateful. An attitude of gratitude is so important because it celebrates your victories. It's some or other you are grateful in your heart and you want to celebrate that gratefulness because it is a victory. Many people are suffering, like what Elizabeth said. You know, Elizabeth, it's sad, especially you see the homeless. And here we are in the warmth of our home. We have food to eat. People do not have food. The war in Ukraine, people have run away, lost everything. And today we want to celebrate this resilient people because for them to live is victory.
That's it.
To live is
That's it.
victory. Mm,
And we don't have to look at the suffering that other people are going through
mm-hmm,
for us to be grateful. Let's not let it get to that stage. Let's learn to be grateful anyway, regardless of the suffering we're seeing around us. Just learn to appreciate life, learn to appreciate yourself, learn to appreciate others, because it helps you to even have a more positive outlook towards life.
mm,
It changes your mindset. It changes your thinking. When you're able to celebrate you, you're actually attracting more victories to you.
mm.
You're attracting more celebrations to you. Try it. Just try celebrating yourself.
Positivity. Okay, let me put a question forward to you. If you were an introvert, you you think celebrating could be said that in this way, that you would like prefer journaling? Does it make sense, Elizabeth? A lot of introverts do not go forward and acknowledge, or they might be very shy of going to a person and saying, "Oh, I celebrate you." So how do we help an introvert in this matter?
Journaling is good, yes, but do something beyond journaling to celebrate yourself. And it doesn't have to be a loud celebration. It doesn't have to be a loud and elaborate celebration. It could just be something that you enjoy doing. Like I said, it could just be taking yourself out for a cup of tea to celebrate a win that you've had, to celebrate a good interview, to celebrate a good week. It could just be a case of, at the end, giving yourself um a reward to say, at the end of the week, this is what I will do to celebrate achieving this goal. And it doesn't have to be an elaborate thing. I was speaking to one of my clients at some point, and I say to her one time, because I encourage my clients to celebrate themselves. That's we start with it, and we put it in the coaching system. Like, by the time they finish coaching with me, they are celebrating themselves. They are celebrating themselves because I push it. I
No
push it. I'm
stopping,
always
huh?
asking.
No stopping.
I always ask, what are your wins? What are you celebrating? What are you working on? Yes, how are you rewarding yourself? And sometimes we don't think about how we reward ourselves after certain things. But I remember, I think it was my husband who challenged me one time. He said, when you get your first client, how are you going to celebrate yourself? How are you going to celebrate that? And it got me thinking. So nowadays I try as much as possible, small little achievements here and there. And I'm like, yes, celebrate yourself, celebrate along the way. So if you follow me on social media, sometimes you'll read my posts and you'll be like, this woman is just too proud. But it's me celebrating. And you know what? Me celebrating, for example, on social media gives people a bit of insight into my
Mhm,
journey.
mhm.
It gives people an insight into what some of the achievements that I've had along the way, and actually I think it was me celebrating myself added to me winning that positivity award I won at the end of last year.
Mhm.
Because then when I checked my social media, aside from people writing in and saying these things about me, that, oh yes, she's a positive woman, they were able to see my social media and see that I posted a lot of positive stuff. And so they chose me as the winner for the positivity award. So I came back to what? To celebrate after I won it as
Well,
well.
don't go so far, Elizabeth. I saw your energy and your positivity that got attracted to you and said, "I need to know this woman."
There you go. You never know what you're celebrating is going to bring your way. So honestly, but it's so true that when we get into a habit of celebrating ourselves, we start to become more aware of certain things, and we draw more celebration to ourselves. We draw more positivity to us. And if you're a person who not just celebrates yourself, but celebrates the people around you, people are going to be drawn to you. People will enjoy being around you.
I'm going to say a very cheeky thing here. You know, you celebrating yourself openly, and if you're a single woman, you might attract your future husband. Oh, I like this lady. She is so full of positivity. I need to get to know her. You see, like what Elizabeth says, what you might attract. So don't be a moaner. Don't be a person who is always having negative thoughts. Do not be that person who is always complaining, but be that person, the vessel of positivity, because you do not know who you will attract.
So the Bible talks about, in It's in Proverbs, isn't it, where it talks about as a man thinketh in his
Yes.
heart, so is
Yeah, so
he.
easy. Yes.
And out there in the wild, we talk about the fact that our lives move in the direction of our strongest thoughts. So if your thoughts are on celebrating you, where is your life moving towards?
Celebration
If you're
wins.
thinking on celebrating yourself, on celebrating how far you have come, celebrating others, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You will be celebrated.
Mm. Interesting.
So
It's so interesting.
don't wait for others to come and celebrate you. Start the celebration, start the party, start celebrating yourself, and they will soon come to celebrate you.
Mm.
I guarantee you that. Somebody will come to celebrate you.
Wow, that's a revelation. That's a revelation. That's a thank you, Tunji. We are very happy because you are together with us, celebrating one another, and we want to celebrate you, Tunji, because you've been such a good support to Elizabeth and to me, and to a lot of people quietly in the background doing a lot of things, and we want to celebrate you today.
And you know what? Confidence culture conversations wouldn't be where it is
Yes.
without support like that of Tunji and other people. Adeline, if you're watching this, we
Yeah.
celebrate you. The women in Malaysia who've been tuning in, who've been listening to our episodes and sharing them, we celebrate you. Yes, you might have watched and not commented, but you've taken time to view one of our episodes. We celebrate you. You've taken time to share the link and spread the word. We celebrate you. We celebrate you. And yes, we're just celebrating you online, but maybe one day we can get to celebrate you face to face, especially for those in Malaysia when we do come. Hopefully, we can get to celebrate with you.
That's right.
So, ladies, gentlemen, our viewers, we celebrate you.
And celebrate your support. Celebrate your support. Days are coming that we might see you face to face, but if we do not see you face to face, we see you on Zoom and we celebrate you. Because as Elizabeth was saying, speaking, a thought just flashed through. We do not know when we will meet each other, but today, with grateful hearts, we want to say that we thank you for your support. And I know directly, indirectly, you're cheering us on to keep us going on Confidence Culture Conversations. That's why we show up every Tuesday, bringing in topics of interest to many. Sometimes there are topics that are not very nice, but you know what? We are talking about it to help us and you to become more than overcomers.
That's it. I think we should close on that note.
Yes. And Elizabeth, your melon today is, we are losing you many, many times today. You're freezing.
Okay, apologies for that. I hope the viewers are getting the full version of me, but
No, we can hear you
we
clearly, but
celebrate coming to the end.
yeah. Yeah, we can hear you clearly, but it's the picture. So, is there anything that we need to celebrate this week? And are you doing anything special? Please talk about Kingdompreneur, Elizabeth.
So yes, a shout out for Kingdompreneurs Summit, 17th of June 2023. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. So if you're in and around the London areas, join us on 17th of June. It's a Saturday. You can make it a weekend away in London. We will be live at the Holiday Inn, Kensington High Street, for our summit. And the theme this year is advance. It's time to break come and advance into everything that God has called us to advance into. There is no time like the present for us to arise, for us to shine, for us to be all that God has called us to be. Now, if you haven't gotten your ticket, I encourage you to get your ticket, and you can celebrate someone in your life by buying them a ticket, right? So buy yourself a ticket, but buy someone else a ticket too, to celebrate them, to just encourage them to come as well. Because yeah, some people might be thinking, I'm shy to go for events by myself. So get a ticket for somebody else, and come along with them. It's going to be an amazing time of being empowered, from a business perspective, but also from I would say, a ministry perspective, because God has called us and He has given us a mandate to occupy till He comes. So everything that we do, we need to do as we're doing unto God. So even in our work, our businesses, professionally, we need to do as we're doing unto God. So get your tickets today. Get your tickets today. You can check out either my my Facebook to get more information. And thank you, Tunji, for sharing the link as well. So the kingdompreneursnetwork.com/summit. Get your tickets. Honestly, don't let the opportunity pass by. Don't let it pass you by. Get your ticket today while the Alibad tickets are still available.
Yes. So, with that, shall we say good night, cheerio, have a good evening, good afternoon, or have a good day forward? For those who are watching from America or any other parts of the world, your day is just starting. So have a good day. And for those who are this part of the world, we're going into our evenings. And those who are in Asia, they're in bed. So I hope they have a good sound sleep. And while we are preparing for our evening together with family and friends, we want to just say we celebrate you and we love you.
There you go. We celebrate you and we love you. God bless you.